I'm writing a book I know I wanted to write for years. And I was scared to say it out loud for just as long. Not because I didn't have anything to say, but simply because I asked myself the same question people always ask themselves when they are on the verdict of creating something real. Who am I to do this? I'm dyslexic, I dropped out of theater school, I have no publisher, no guarantee someone will ever read this, and honestly, the first chapter is not even done yet. I lined out all the chapters, I know the core message, but right now it mostly exists just in my head and a Google Doc that's nowhere near from done. And yet, I'm telling you about it anyway, because I was at an event here in Bali called Give It All. Someone asked me, what are you working on? During that conversation, the book came up. And the second I started talking about the concepts that I'm working through, the ideas, the frameworks, what I actually want to say, it felt real in a way I hadn't felt before. And that's when I understood something. Speaking things into existence isn't a cliche, it's a tool, it's accountability. The book will be called Creating Something from Nothing. The core idea is actually quite simple, but I don't think most people actually live it, because I believe every human being to the core is a creator. Not in an artistic sense, but in a literal sense. We built the entire world we're living in. Every single thing in this world first was an idea in someone's head before it got created into reality. The iPhone in your hand, the chair I'm sitting on, the city you're living in, all of that started from nothing. And yet, lots of people just walk through life thinking creation is something that happened to them. The life they live in is something that happens to them, not something they actually create, something created by the things they did, by the things they said. I want to change that. The book is structured around one question. Is the life you're living the one you choose or the one that you settled for? And then it walks you through the whole process of everything that you actually want, so you can choose to create it. And here's something I haven't talked about publicly before. When I actually started writing, not just thinking about writing, but actually sit down and put things on paper, something unexpected happened. I started to understand my own mind way better. Things I believed but couldn't fully articulate yet. They suddenly became clear when I had to write them down for someone else to understand. Like the idea that all humans are creators. I've thought that for years. But when I sat down to write everything on paper, I now understand why I actually believe it. The book, it's making me clearer on what I actually stand for. And that was something I actually did not expect. I also did something in the book that felt really uncomfortable to do. I talk about my core values, the things that actually drive you underneath everything that you think and do. I simply asked the reader to write those core values down for themselves as well. Freedom is my number one, and it always has been. But writing it down and then looking at every decision that I made in the past 3 years, through that lens, it explained everything. Why I left theater school, why I choose sales, why I traveled, why I am choosing to stay in Bali right now to build from here. Every major decision traces back to your core value. Your actions always follow your values, whether you know it or not. And if you feel misaligned, you're probably misaligned with your core values. And someone asked me why I am writing this book right now. I'm 23, the companies I'm building are not fully built yet. There's still so much I haven't done. But the answer to why I am writing this right now is actually quite simple. I follow one principle that defines everything I do. Strive now, regret nothing later. Make sure you have nothing left to give. If I waited until I felt ready to start writing this book, until the companies were scaled, until I had a publisher, until someone gave me permission, I would be waiting forever. The book, it started as nothing. A decision, a Google Doc, a conversation I had with someone in Bali, all of that is creating something from nothing. It's the first step towards the things that you actually want. One of the things that sparked a lot of interest with the people I talked about it so far was the happiness equation. And my take on it is probably not what you expect. If happiness is your goal, I honestly think it's the wrong goal. Happiness is an emotion. Emotions are contradictory by nature. One cannot exist without the other. If you're never sad, never angry, never frustrated, you can never feel truly happy. The contrast is what makes happiness real. Happiness is simply an outcome. not a goal. And outcomes are created by circumstances. So the real question isn't how do I become happy? The real question is how do I create the circumstances that produce happiness as a result? For me, the answer lives in 4 pillars. Health. Are you physically and mentally healthy? Impact. If you would die today, what's the impact that you leave behind? What's the thing that people would say on your funeral? Relationships. Do you have good relationships with yourself, your parents, your loved ones? Friends, family, you name it. And wealth. Are you wealthy enough to afford your means, to live the life that you want? When those 4 things are in place, happiness follows, not the other way around. But here's what matters the most. Those pillars look different for everyone. You fill them up accordingly to your own values. There's no universal answer. There's only the answer that is true to you. That's why there is a full section in the book about happiness. I consider myself a happy person living a happy life. Even though all my pillars are not always intact, I can focus on the pillars that are intact to still have happiness as an outcome. It depends on who you are, which pillars are most important. There will also be a section about creating a powerful life or being extra effective, walking the whole journey of creating something from nothing. The objective is not to tell you what to do. The objective is to give you frameworks, tools, and stories so you know what you need to do. Because actions leads to results. And without action, you cannot create anything. That's the whole point of the book. That has always been the point. For anyone. You can reflect about things as much as you want, but if you have nothing to reflect about, then what do you write down? I don't know how long it will take to finish this. I don't know how many people will read it. What I do know is that the act of writing it already changes the way I think, and that alone makes it worth doing. If you want to follow this process, the writing, the building, all of it, how I'm living in Bali, I'm documenting everything on Instagram. The link is in the description down below. And also, I will tell all the stories and the concepts on this YouTube channel. If this video made you think about something that you've been putting off, the thing you keep saying to yourself that you would do someday, maybe today is the day that you can speak it into existence. Subscribe to follow this whole journey. And if you like this video, I'm 100% certain that you love this video right here. Really, click on it. I also have a second channel where I only talk about business stuff that you can find right here. There I talk about all the process and things I do and use for my clients while running my agency. I want to say one more thing. As always, visionaries, take action, and I see you in the next one. Ciao.